What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the debut album by British extreme metal band Carcass. Basically, this product is called Reek of Putrefaction, and it came out in the summer of 1988. Now, within the fair, this is a banner and seminal type album. Pitches like that is considered the first released in like the gore grind genre as far as those pitches can happen. They help helm some of that type fare within pitch like that. And now within the particular fare, gore grind within the pitch, from what I had seen behind it, it particularly says it's a particular fusion of grindcore and death metal pitches like that. So pretty similar to like Bathory folks like that, just a little bit more emphasis on like more emphasis on like Ravage pitches like that, just some gnarled typeness. Now none of these song titles on here compared to Bathory feels not so much like a cakewalk, but kind of feels more of just like a particular, maybe like a day at the amusement park, at least considering like the viciousness. Now within the snarl, Bathory is definitely pretty snarled as well, pitched like that in terms of the riffage, those type fares. But in terms of like the song titles, the overall aspect of like the delivery and things like that, this is pretty much getting into pretty far-fetched type territory. Not far-fetched in terms of like quality, but out there type territory in terms of the pitch, like the shreddiness and just the overall likelihood of probably catching like the particular radio fare. Now within the pitch, it's not super common that you would think. The thing I adore about this album is just the fact that there are some moments on here, despite the fact of grindcore and death metal kind of being pretty far out from like the radar of usual radio pickups. The fact that they at least attempted it and have some of that on here. As far as some ones, just looking by the album cover, pitches like that, this looks like particularly this Ravage kind of innards getting shredded, pitches like that, some of those type of ordeals. Just the aspect of real, something out of like a Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. Something out of like a Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street type movie, pitches like that. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, some of those type of ordeals, or Saw, some of those type ones, pitches like that. But this has the ordeals. This is classic 80s kind of metal, pitched like that. Just amidst like that particular fare when you're getting with folks, obviously like Metallica and Anthrax. I think Anthrax is more or less 80s, but Megadeth, Bathory, some of these type ones, other folks like that in particular, Slayer, some of these type folks just playing these type aspects within the viciousness. This is another hit band. I was kind of underneath the impression that Carcass went further back in the 80s within those fairs, but it's excellent type pitch, it's excellent type product to get some of these type products. It's a classic here. Now I'm only going to review part one of this. This is more or less like a double album. It's 22 songs within these pitches. So there's 22 songs. I'm going to review the first 11 now. Side 1, the Fatal Disarticulation, as far as those pairs going to have. Now, within the pitch, I will return to this album within these pitches. Yeah, this is pretty swirling tour de force as far as these pitches can have, just the aspect of just the particular type of appeal of that. Now within the aspect, like I said, the promotion is kind of scant within the pitches, but it does have some aspects amidst the viciousness. Is kind of the aspect that most of this is pretty consistent kind of dungeon night as far as these pitches can have, and just really getting shit faced out of your mind, having the aspect of just like balls to the wall type fury within the aspect as far as those pitches can happen, just amidst like. Now, within the recommendation of watching like the particular warning signs, pitches like that, but this is definitely one of those type ones where the aspects can kind of have the variety as far as saying just keeping provisions intact and pitches like that within some of those type fares. So it's just kind of pitch. This is one of those type, I think you can tell this probably, especially if you get if you look on Wikipedia seeing this particular fare, the album cover of this particular fare, it should pretty much tell you just the carnage that pretty much goes along. So it's just should pretty much tell you the snarl that goes along. So it's just kind of pitch as far as saying just picking up on like the product disc. It's a good album to handle with care. In other words, it's a good pitch like that. But it's just kind of product easily kind of get the easy nice one to blow out the subwoofers, pitches like that. It's a good type of ordeals. It's classic kind of dungeon music, just like so many 80s hits like that. Some of those type pitches, Master of Puppets, some Slayer albums, some Anthrax, some of those type fares in there. Megadeth, some of those type folks like I listed, but good type pitches. So plenty of these type ones, definitely Bathory, good pitches like that. Some of those type one, definitely Bathory. Some of those furious type pitches, some of those type ones within aspects, but definitely within the appeal. So look after here. So yeah, simple enough. Recommend all 11 songs on side 1 of this. The Fatal Disarticulation. So just to say within these pitches, like I was saying, these particular song titles, these are not going to just be like Mallrats, some of those type of songs, Mallrats, or Get Hella Crunk, some of these type of aspects, Drinks Up, some of these type of pitches, Kryptonite, some of these type ones, Kryptonite, Scars, some of these type ones. A lot of these have pretty, I mean, it's just the aspect as far as saying, it's just the pitch as far as saying you're getting like pretty shredding type ones, but it's just the pitch. I will point out some of these type ones that have more kind of manifesto towards the grafting and something that has more, it's not like this album isn't casual, but just the pitch as far as something that kind of has more radio pickup, at least within the aspect of something that's a little bit less of a learning curve, but it's not a horrid learning curve. It's this kind of pitch as far as saying that it just, the ravageness is very vicious album. which is excellent pitches like that. So the most popular song according to Spotify, at least on side one, is Regurgitation of Giblets. This is a nice one here. That's like a raving and riptide kind of dungeon bleeder to get within the aspects of it. Plenty of drink to have good pitch like that. Just balls to the wall as far as these first can go. So just some of these type ones. Plenty of these: Maggot Colony, Regurgitation of Giblets, Carbonized Eye Sockets, Vomited Anal Tract, some of these type ones, Genital Grinder, some of these type, not genital grinder, but fester day, some of these type ones, fermenting innards, a bunch of these, just plenty of these are just consistent kind of dungeon fear within these aspects. This is just consistent kind of blackout, really get cranked. If you feel like Master Puppets by Metallica, which is a classic dungeon album from the 80s, is kind of just, taciturn and kind of more, particularly vanilla wafer cookie kind of aspect, this is kind of one of those type ones that should be right up that alley as far as just getting the crank a little bit further. This is kind of pitch, but yeah, just like I said, kind of say to proceed with caution. Some of these type pitches, a few of these type ones that have some radio type appeal to get to some of these type ones, good aspects, one of which is piacified, kind of rotten to the gore as far as these pitches kind of happen. Now, not as full-blown sure piacified within these aspects, whether that's the actual commonplace word, particularly the grammar edit on Notepad says that it particularly isn't a word, it's kind of within pitch. I could look it up, but it's just kind of within fair. But just to say within those aspects, excellent type fair, piacified, rotten to the gore. This would be a good for death metal, grindcore pitches like that, some of these type ones to be a good aspect to have like a relative radio single within that variety that has like the carnage and the ravageousness within the aspects as far as these tones going to happen. It's a great, excellent radio type choice to kind of get on here. It's one of the closest ones that kind of has more relative kind of, it's still very, the shredding and the vocals, the demonizedness is still on here, but it's a good type pitch. So piacified, rotten to the gore is like a good relative radio single to get. Just get some air for this particular pair, just from Night Demon. Get some air from Night Demon as far as those pairs can have. So definitely excellent with the pitch. The way Bathory would do some of these type of songs of having death metal and black metal pitches like that, and just going out, going to Target, getting some good type pairs, getting like some cake mix or things like that. Good excellent aspects, picking up some necessary frozen pizzas, napkins, some of these type pitches within the product, paper plates, some of these type ordeals, just kind of pitch. This more or less within the fair, piacified, rotten to the gore is just one of those type pitches, like a Traverse type one. For the most part, this mostly consists like the dungeon type fury, just the house party type blackouts pitches like that, some of those type ordeals, but it's kind of the pitch as far as saying it's necessary if you do need to pick up like some Bic lighters, some of those type pitches, just the aspect of further type supplies and demands as far as those pairs can have within the aspects as far as the tones can have. It's just one of those type ones. But the fair about this particular one is just the aspect that the kind of torment that goes along with like the particular fair, like the carnage along with this kind of along for the ride. So it's just kind of pitch as far as saying it really feels like you'd be kind of tipsy or seasick within some of these type tones, just a miss going out. It just really has the aspect as far as like, now, not obviously not to recommend driving within the fury of the way the song kind of fair makes you feel within pitch like that, but just kind of fair as far as saying this is a hell of a crank type one, just kind of the aspect of like getting some social and outing kind of reprieve within like the legality of it, pitches like that. So it's not obviously not to say to cause a scene and run amok and be like pillaging and things like that, but just kind of miss the pitch of just if it is really just going to saying, hey, I want to get some Butterfingers Crunch bars, some of these type aspects, or just get a whole bunch of Doritos and Chex Mix, some of those type tones, just kind of within pitch, just simple kind of gas station runs, some of those type pitches within aspects of just excellent type fare. Another one that kind of nails that appeal within the aspect, like some good radio type appeal, that's pretty good. That feels basic and kind of that feels more basic and commercial for them, is Excreted Alive pitches like that. Now most of these songs on this album, I also feel like piacified, rotten to the gore is like, this is the closest one to probably like a radio single. This is the lengthiest song on here. Most of these songs do not get much past 2 minutes. There's only really 2 of these, but piacified is pretty much the one that has like the most more or less radio glam in terms of like the aspect of something to traverse to and get some traffic done, pitches like that and miss the fair. But it's not like it's going to be sing-songy hooks like when you think of Corey Taylor on like that particular song, like when you think of Corey Taylor on Wait and Bleed, where that turns out to be melodic pitches like that. But it's just good type ordeals within the Fashionist and Traverse. But yeah, Excreted Alive is another one of these type ones. Just a quick snip. It's a nice quickie of one. Excreted Alive is like a more ground level and face card kind of death metal promo single to kind of get within these aspects, not as if it actually was. I'm not sure if there was full bound promotion. Kind of the fair about this album is just the fact they didn't really get to mix it that well within pitches like that, so I think that was another reason back in those particular days that they made just kind of, they put it out, but it's just kind of pitch as far as saying that it's kind of one of those type ones like the Clerks movie that's kind of seen as a classic. Just they worked with what they had, and it's not any sort of foul. It's just kind of pitch of that, but it's just kind of fair. It's definitely like a death metal like promo single, good pitches like that. Great song to go ham to, just some fire. Excreted, alive, and piostified, rotten to the core have the least amount of learning curve, in my opinion, with pitches like that. But it's excellent type fair to get some of these type ones with some radio glam within a relative type aspect for grindcore, death metal pitches like that. Good type appeals. Fermenting innards is another nice one within these pitches that has some relative kind of this. Kind of a good commercial spice pitch like that. Now it's not actually within those pitches, but it's just good product like a feels like classic kind of 80s death metal pitches like that, and thrash metal is like a stewing and blow off steam kind of day as far as these pitches can have. And dope rager kind of get here just playing a video game, kind of getting pissed off, but just kind of in a flip a bird type mode, but just kind of miss the pitch and just kind of brewing more aspects like that. It's a great song to smoke a few just pitches like that, kind of cool off a bit with your pals, pitches like that. Just good, nice one to go through a few bags of Doritos, pitches like that, some type of ordeal. So this house party type moments, this kind of pitch of like possibly fuming with the aspect, maybe music, work type fair within pitches, a little bit annoying pitches like that, but it's just kind of fair at some of those type moments. It's just a miss like the product of it. Good type fair to just have. Just some bubbling type fair, some brewing, good pitches like that. Particularly another nice one, Genital Grinders, nice on here as far as these pitches can have a nice kick off to the album. It's a pretty relative popular type one on Spotify pitch like that. It's like an Arise and Rejoice kind of great black metal kind of rise and shine, I'd say, within the aspects of it here. Just woke up at like 7 p.m. Some of those type pitches. Just have some Mountain Dews nearby for that. Have like some Mountain Dews nearby for some of those type products within pitch. Now obviously I could say not to be too liquor centric to say if you woke up at 7 o'clock p.m. just having like a shot of Hennessy or some of those type fairs, but just starting off a little bit milder pitch like that, just have like Mountain Dew nearby, some of those type pitches. But obviously within the health, you don't want to get, just keep in mind the fast of not getting tore up to the point of just causing issues, but it's just kind of pitch of just having like some good centricness, wake up late, some of these type of products. But keep in mind, Gentle Grinders, just the aspect, it's not going to be like a morning song, like when you think of like a song by Bruno Mars, like Just the Way You Are, some of those type pitches is nowhere near, it's just kind of for metal and those type aspects, it's kind of a rise and shine within it's probably the closest thing to like some morning type fair, just relative kind of just get you up and at them within those pitches, but just kind of does it in grindcore type fashion. So it's a good type pitch for some of those. Maggot Colonies, nice on here as well. It's like a mist, a hell cranked up kind of night, I'd say, within products of it. This furious kind of dungeon carnage, I'd definitely say. Tear up like a whole pizza or something like that within those aspects. So it's kind of the tone as far as saying some of these type ones is consistent kind of dungeon bangers. Another one like that is Carbonized Ice Sockets, but just plenty of these type ones on here. Carbonized Ice Sock is like an outdoor carnage kind of smoke fest kind of gets. So just switching from usual kind of indoor dungeon type fare to a little bit backyard type fare, getting some smoke fries, having some barbecue, possibly nearby Popeyes, some of these type pitches within it. It's typical kind of resident hammer as far as those pitch comes. So just to miss the product, just getting a little bit like some glare kind of red skies, sunshine pitch like that. Great autumn type fare pitch like that. Summer product, spring product as well, good pitch like that, but just kind of miss the product to this. Going outside for like a smoke break if you don't smoke as much indoors, pitch like that, but it's just kind of fair as far as saying just getting some air, some of those type products within the demonized type sense, good pitches. The shortest song on here, Faster Day, is a nice one as well. And normally, I would think within the fashion, I like the product of this just being like a 25-second song within these pitches, but still having the heaviness within those aspects. I consider a song just because it does have the aspect like the riffage and things like that on here, pitches like that. Faster Day is like an excellent kind of mosh pit, kind of hella wired, consistent fury, I'd say, within pitches like that. Just some hangout carnage. So just a quick one. It's over before you know it within pitches like that, but just kind of product just getting some banginess. Frenzied Detruncation is an excellent one on here as well. It's like some dungeon excitement to get within these products. It's divas and route some of these type products. It's kind of the fair. This is more house party type noise than the pitch. It's kind of one of those type ones where you're feeling right, kind of woozy a bit within some of those type fairs. It's kind of getting kind of the product of getting to some social fits. This is where a little bit more chat comes into play, pitches like that. Now most of this is pretty heavy with an aspect as if you probably have to raise your voice just for folks to be able to hear you pitch like that, but just kind of sneaking in some of those type fairs, just having the extra things to say, kind of keeping like the taste of it going within fairs like that, just within the pitch. I mean, it's usually pretty a lot more ravaged within pitch. I like more consistent type divas probably have like the taste for a pitch like this. This is kind of product as far as just like the aspect. Songs like Frenzied Detruncation is good vibe check type music, kind of have like benefits as far as those pitches having just good type fair, just you're doing alright, you smoking alright, some of the sub pitches, good excellent product, but just within fair like consistent kind of house party rage pitches like that, some sub ordeals. Vomited Anal Tract is a nice one on here. Some of these type ones is really within the pitch as far as saying just the fury of what particularly is this excellent dope fury about this album as far as these first have. Vomited Anal Tract is like a feeling wired kind of rave off the hinge kind of feralness kind of get within these aspects. It's great, nice one to pound shots, to have lots of nachos, some of these type pitches. So just kind of the fair. And some of these type ones just from the viciousness type aspect, these are just consistent type ones within the fury, like the damage behind it. I think in certain type senses there might be some folks that might think, well, how can you tell the difference between some of these type fairs within the aspect? They all sound like this dungeon fury and pitch like this. Not as if that's entirely. I do think there's differences at least between some of these more pop centric type ones for the genre, at least pop centric. When you think of like songs like Fermenting Innards and Excreted Alive and Pios Sissified Rotten to the Gore, some of those type ones. And I also say General Grinders pretty much from the pitch. But like I said, it's just the product of just there being a lot of these type ones that just have like the dungeon type aspects that really just taking like a hit album like in dungeon type fare like Master of Puppets and some Slayer albums, some of those type pitches, and then just cranking it to like 50 or something like that within those ordeals. Not, I mean, if Master of Puppets was on a scale of 1 to 10 and Master of Puppets was a 10, it's probably pretty much like cranking that particular fare to like 50 or something like that, and probably even further, but you get the idea with the pitches. This that particular type fare. I'm trying to think of other type of songs I haven't talked about on here. I think the last one I haven't talked about is Suppuration, as far as these fairs going to happen. So Suppuration is like a gnarled kind of hell race night to kind of get within the aspects, this coasting kind of fair. Some of that type fare, just let the aspects kind of brew in your system. Some of those type products, drinks taste great. Some of these type aspects, movie hits. Some of those type fairs, it's on PlayStation, it's on Max Payne. Some of these type products, Rush Hour. Watching a good movie like Rush Hour, Minority Report, some of these type fairs, Pulp Fiction, some of these type aspects, good movie is hitting, good pitches like that, just some local rumble on top of that. So just kind of more dense, crazy type noise, just the aspect like the local goings on, just appreciating like the fair, just some couch sitting pitches like that. Standard dope kind of house party and dungeon kind of embellished as far as those fairs going to go. So that takes care of this album as far as these fairs going to have. So definite classic. I will eventually get to side 2 Anal Disgorgement within the future as far as this fairs going to have. Not full band sure when, but it's excellent type pitch. This is exciting type album within pitch. The first half of it's excellent within the fair. Say the rest of it's probably just as blistering, just with the furiousness as well. Good excellent aspects. So score's going to go ahead and get. Now within the fair you could say 10 out of 10, but it's just the pitch in terms of the fury about it. Just a consistent kind of furious kind of dungeon night pitch like that. It's classic kind of 80s metal, whether you refer to it as grindcore, death metal, some of these type more gore grindcore, death metal, some of these type products, thrash metal within aspects like that, just the fury type aspects. If you fuck with Metallica, Bathory, some of these type 1 Slayer pitches like that, just goes right in hand, this classic kind of 80s type fist pitches like that. I do feel like the fair about some of these type ones that have like the degree of like commercial type taste on here, despite the fact that it seemed less likely that Carcass pretty much picked up airplay. There are some moments that at least attempted within pitches like that. They have like the ones for not where it's not just consistently amidst like the dungeon, more household type fare. There are a couple of these where you might have to go to Walmart or a gas station, get like some quick supplies pitches like that, or a treat. Get some sort of party favors for like diva type fits, pitches like that. So it's just kind of within the ordeal as far as saying. So just good, excellent products, just looking after the fair. So I'm going to go ahead and say 10 socially, just because the aspect of what it particularly did. First down, having these particular type of appeals, being so off to the wayside, nailing the particular aspect to having like some good, having like the casual type snap about it within a relative type sense. I think that's enough appeal to be able to say it has the blistering typeness. So it has the aspect about it on here, good pitches like that. So in terms of the future, like, more or less, I would say Carcass has dropped some stuff. They've dropped a series of these within pitches like that. They have been around since at least the 80s, like I was saying with this particular fair, but within pitch, they at least dropped an album as recent as 2021. Hopefully they're working on some more stuff pitched like that. But yeah, this is a good grindcore, gore grind kind of classic, 80s metal kind of classic, full bound kind of blistering. Definitely the Fury is on here pretty heavily.